That's exactly the way I like to think about describing wine, and that's the use of the chocolate here, is to prompt you to think about what you're tasting. We'll go on to the wines in a second, because I just need to try one more chocolate with one of the wines, of course, being very thorough. But you enjoy the chocolates?
Yeah.
And there are more. Don't feel that the few you have, that's all you're allowed. There's plenty here.
Is that the tawny, Charles?
It is.
Just a quick question. Are they matched?
Yes.
Right.
That's my worst match. But don't feel, you may agree, you may disagree. It's a chop and
No,
change.
that's a super.
Okay. There is a science about it, as I understand how to match, and I've tried that at home. Lots of different chocolates and different wines. It's horrible. The only actually, I think, the only too much, I think there must be caffeine or something in chocolate. Because I couldn't sleep that night. Really odd. Just kept me awake. There's something in there, definitely, because this is unadulterated chocolate.
What's called what?
There is something in it.
Carl, next time you taste the wine and chocolate at home, give me a ring.
Oh, give us all a ring.
We'll come help you.
Then I would have no chocolate there.
We'll come help. We'll bring chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely.
You provide the sherry.
It's a Mars bars, Bounty and Twix.
And sherry.
And sherry.
Right.
It's interesting because I buy coffee from Monmouth Coffee in London, and they have single estate coffees from.
I've been to coffee and tea tastings.
And they have the same sort of thing with different bouquets, and it's all very similar in single estate coffee. It's quite interesting.
So, for those of you getting thirsty, we can now move on to the drink. So, we have a Madeira, we have a sweet sherry, and we have a port. Now, all three are fortified, and I think it's key that fortified drinks, because of the alcohol, gives it a bit more power to cope with the richness of chocolate, and I think that's why chocolate desserts, not just chocolate, works really, really well with these. Last year, the first time I actually introduced chocolate with wine, we had only one wine that was a clear winner as to the match, and that was the sherry. Pedro Jimenez. There's a raisiny quality to it that lends itself really well with rich, more desserts than necessarily chocolate, but that was the single winner. Sold more of that because of chocolate than anything else. The Madeira and port are interesting ones. Madeira is slightly, there's a caramel, toffee taste to it as well. There is that candy, sweet feel about it. It's off-dry, they call it medium rich, okay? But it's got that sort of, I think, a bit of coffee, a bit of caramel in there that I thought went very, very well with the first chocolate. But it's not as sweet, obviously, as the sherry. Now that's sweet because the Pedro Jimenez grapes are picked and then they're allowed to dry until almost like raisins. So there's not much juice that comes out, but a hell of a lot of sugar. Not all that sugar ferments into alcohol, but then it's matured in these barrels for about 20-25 years plus. This is a white wine, that's the colour of the grapes, but the age, it's the time it spends in these old American oak barrels gives it the colour. But it's very, very raisiny. And I think that works quite nicely with chocolate as well. It's also, that's the second wine, the Pedro Jimenez. It's also amazing with ice cream. Ice cream is a difficult thing with taste because your palate's chilled and you can't taste. But if you pour it over rum and raisin ice cream, it is incredible.
Which one? The first one?
The second one, the Pedro Jimenez. Try it over rum and raisin ice cream. It is unbelievably good. I'm sure we went with vanilla ice cream, chocolate ice cream, but rum and raisin works really well.
Quite good on prunes for breakfast.
Yeah.
It's got tastes just like prunes. Tomorrow morning I'll be having this instead of prunes.
And then finally the port. That's a 10-year-old tawny, and tawny is a term of an type of aged port, because vintage port is aged in the bottle. Okay, so it's made in the same way, but all the aging is done in bottle. Tawny is aged in barrels. Now you'll see on the description it says it's a 10-year-old tawny. Basically what that means is the average age of the wines blended are 10. So you'll have some 20-year-old in there, maybe some 5-year-old, maybe some 10. So the average age is 10. A 20-year-old tawny would be paler in colour. That's the term tawny. Serve it slightly chilled, really nice aperitif. Typically in Portugal, that's exactly how it will be served, as an aperitif. With ice, maybe there is a drink now they're doing with white port with lemonade instead of, it's like a low alcohol gin and tonic.
White port and tonic. Amazing.
And then, but with chocolate, it's really, really good with a rich chocolate dessert, a chocolate mousse. The melting chocolate soufflés are actually very, very good. Personally, that's why I wanted to try the port, because I haven't actually tried it tonight with the chocolate there since I had the 2 weeks ago. I personally think this is my favourite, the chocolate.
The tawny?
The tawny.
Yeah,
I can see why the sherry went well, because it's really sweet. If you've got a variation of styles here, you've got your off-dry first one, very sweet second one, then not a sweet third one. Now try mixing them up with chocolate.
If the chocolate was
I think it's amazing.
you know, I'm still not busy.
Yes.
None of them are really good, are they? They're not really.
This is further to the tawny.
And that's too sweet. Tawny's much.
Yeah. I mean, I love it. Which one did you have as a vintage? The Panasol, the kids of the Panasol.
Okay, what do you like?
You don't like the
tawny?
Well, that's good. That must be, I'm not sure which one. I think that's the Fonseca level vintage.
No, I think it's
I'm not sure.
Madagascar's lovely.
Isn't it?
It's not Cadbury's.
But now you've tasted chocolates, what do you think?
That's still too sweet.
Which one?
The sherry, the very, very sweet.
It's a dessert one, yeah.
You really like it, don't you? Yeah.
I love it.
Do you? Is it a new one?
Yeah, I love it.
You could do it with the trifle.
I love sherry.
I love chocolate with the chocolate, but I like it on its own.
Which one?
The Pedro.
Pedro, a minute. You prefer it on its own.
It's
I'm
tawny.
not really a chocolate person.
Okay.
Really? You can afford me?
Actually, she ate all mine. I'm not. If you give through peanuts, I've done the whole lot by now.
So I didn't show up the last tasting note that they did for the Trinidad plantation.
I prefer that too.
So I hope it's made you think a bit more about how you taste. I hope also we thought about chocolate, because one thing, because there's more interest actually in this one than in the champagne masterclass.
Really?
What double? Yeah, because chocolate, and this is unusual. But what I want to do is a dedicated chocolate and wine tasting, and make sure that I've got a backup plan. If one of the chocolate experts can't make it, then I'll have another one in place. I wasn't too worried about it this occasion, because this is just a taster. So the idea next year will be to do a dedicated chocolate tasting, and then that will involve more wines, more chocolates, and looking at more different ways of exploring chocolate. And that will look into how chocolate's made. Why was one chocolate taste different to another? How does climate affect it, and so on. So I know it's going to be a tough one.
Are you promoting a certain chocolate manufacturer?
Beg your pardon?
Are you promoting it?
No, they are distributors, the major distributor in Europe for chocolate.
What are they called? I didn't catch it.
And they're called HB Ingredients, but they're not retail. They only sell to restaurants, chefs, to, like I said, Montezuma's, Cadbury's, for example. So you've had their products, but under a brand. You've not actually tasted the chocolate on its own.
And they're back with all this stuff too.
They bring it in, yeah.
Are you meaning that we can obey you?
Well, yeah, absolutely you can. Each chocolate in a 100 gram bag is £2. To give you an idea, any of those chocolates made into a bar of chocolate the same way, it's about £3.50 a pound. Montezuma's charge £3.50 for one of their chocolates. So I'm not going to make it into bars of chocolate for you. But you can buy the chocolate in 100 grams for £2. And what I was going to suggest is if
From you, Carl?
yeah, I've got some extra. I had to buy a certain amount to get it over in the country in the first place.
Is this from France then, this chocolate?
No, we've got it from Trinidad, Africa, and Madagascar.
No, I used to have my maths class.
Yeah, we did
No wonder I saw her
That's
through.
all right. So So, yes, if you wanted to do this again at home, if you wanted to buy some chocolates and buy the wines and get your friends around and try your own little chocolate wine tasting, you know, let me know. But if you just wanted to buy the chocolates on their own, that's fine. £2 for a 100 gram bag.
Oh yeah, we might
So
have
there you
to
go.
that. She needs it. I don't much.
Clearly.
I don't look like her.
Very interesting.
Thank you. Thanks for your time.
Thank you so much.
I'm going to take the rest of the chocolates out there because I would, and it wouldn't
It's
make you
opened
even
up
more.
new horizons.